Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Tsatsala. Today we have exciting news for internationally educated nurses who are interested in registering to practice in British Columbia, Canada. The British Columbia College of Nursing Professionals has recently updated its guidelines for the registration process. For the registration process, in this video we will walk you through the new guidelines step by step. Let's get started. Understanding the BCCNB, that is the British Columbia Nursing College of Nursing Professionals, before we dive into the registration process. Let's quickly review the role of the BCCNP in British Columbia. The BCCNP is the regulatory body responsible for nursing practice in the province. Their mission is to protect the public by ensuring that nurses meet the required standards of competence and ethical conduct. Initial assessment. The first steps to becoming a registered nurse in British Columbia is the initial assessment. This assessment will determine your eligibility for registration and identify any additional. Start by submitting an application for an initial assessment to the British Columbia College of Nursing Practitioners. Requirements you may need to fulfill. Application for initial assessment. Detailed instruction and information about the required documents. The application form can be found on their website along with. The next step is Educational Credentials Assessment, also known as ECA. As part of the initial assessment, you will need to have your nursing education credentials evaluated by a designated organization by the BCCNP. The British College of Nursing now accepts educational credential assessment, that is the ECAs, from specific approved organizations. The next one is English Proficiency. English Proficiency is essential for nursing practice in British Columbia. That is, in British Columbia is English speaking province. Okay, this assessment helps determine the equivalency of your nursing education to Canadian standard. The BCCNP has specific requirements to assess your language skills. They will assess to know your level of English. So for you to practice in British Columbia, you must demonstrate your English language proficiency by providing the result of your IELTS. The next is the English language proficiency test. And the Canadian English Language Benchmark Assessment for Nurses, also called CBAN. IELTS, or the English Proficiency Test, is an approved language test that you take when you want to practice in British Columbia. Proficiency in English is essential for nursing practice. Minimum language scores required for registration. Practice in British Columbia. It is therefore important to achieve the necessary scores in all tests. Language areas assessed, such as reading, writing, speaking, and listening. The next thing we'll talk about is competency assessment. Once you have successfully completed the initial assessment and met the language proficiency requirements, you will move on to the competency assessment stage. Competency assessment process. The British Columbia College of Nursing Practice will review your education and experience to assess your competency. So here they try to find out how well you've mastered your craft as a nurse. Okay. Depending on the outcome, you may be required to complete a competency assessment, which could involve a combination of written exams, clinical evaluation, or practical assessment. It's just like what you do when in the nursing college final exam will do practical. So as part of that evaluation, they try to do some of these things to see how good you are in what you said you know. Also, competency assessment providers is the next thing that we'll look at. The British Columbia College of Nursing and Professionals has approved specific competency assessment providers. It is important to choose a provider from their list and follow their instruction for scheduling and completing the assessment. So when you are going to conduct the assessment, make sure that whoever instruction organization that is going to conduct the assessment for you, it is the assessment organization that is on their list. You don't go and choose your own people, so they will have their own list. So you have to choose from their own list. So after that, you submit your application for registration to the British Columbia College of Nursing Professionals. After you've done all that, you have to wait, or you have to keep waiting for your feedback from the British College of Nursing Professionals Columbia. So you have to keep waiting till you hear from them. They will send you a mail. So we are saying that if you've done all this, the best you can do is that you have to keep your fingers crossed, wait for them till you hear from them. So I think that's all we are trying to say, that these are, if you are trying to register with the British Columbia, these are all the stages or all the guidelines you have to go through for you to be able to secure registration with British Columbia. There are other components of that registration that I'll bring to you in our following video. Okay, thank you so much. I'm very grateful. I remain your roaming ambassador. Once again, call me Tsatsala. Thank you.